And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, United States, around the world. Welcome to Live Inspired with Kirk Williams, the main stage. Thank you very much for joining me today. Excuse me. It's been a while since I've been on. Life takes certain crazy turns, but guess what? As my brother, you'll see in the background, he's right there. My brother would always say, the show must go on, and that's what we're doing today with this live. And again, you guys are watching this on YouTube. You're watching this on Facebook. Maybe it'll be pop up on Instagram Live, Instagram somewhere, or maybe you're gonna listen to the replay, the podcast on Spotify or wherever you're going to listen to this. We welcome you and we appreciate you. We thank you for joining us today. And we have a pretty special topic today, a special session, summer session with Live Inspired. And we're going to talk about something that's uncomfortable for most people to talk about. It's planning for the inevitable. And you guys know what I mean by planning for the inevitable. Death occurs, death comes, whether we like it or not. And it's a topic that we really don't talk about. We kind of shy away from it. We're going to get into that a little bit today. But that's kind of what we want to talk about. Again, if you guys have joined me before, I love leadership. I love talking about inspiration, encouragement. That's what I am. But life and death, or death, is part of life, from what most people tell me. So I don't know why we don't talk about it enough. And as I've entered into this arena, it's becoming more clear that these conversations need to happen. They should happen. So with that said, thank you again for joining. And I'm going to welcome today's special guest, Miss Jadeenah Smith. And thank you very much for joining, Miss Smith. And tell our audience, tell the world a little bit about you and why you're joining us on the main stage today.
Absolutely. As Kirk said, first, thank you so much, Kirk, for bringing me here and having me as a guest. I absolutely cherish this time and I appreciate that. Um, who I am, my name is Jadeenah Smith, just as Kirk said, and I was in financial services and banking for over 15 years. And now I have worked with insurance and retirement planning, um, and opened up my own firm, in that case, Davidson Smith Insurance and Retirement. And so that's who I am. And my passion is really education and making sure that we have the conversations that we need to have so that we can be in a better place. Um,
Yeah.
the uh, what I would say is where we were before is not where we have to be today. We have the resources, we have the capabilities right now. A lot of times it's just getting that education and knowledge out there so that we can make the moves that we need to make for our families and our legacies.
Very good. Well, thank you, Jadeenah, for joining us and to talk about this topic that, again, most people don't like to talk about. And let me start out with that question to you. Why don't we talk about death? Why don't we talk about planning for it? It's something that happens. Everybody is going to go this way. It's going to happen. Um, why don't we talk about it enough? Why don't we embrace it and discuss it? Tell me, what are your thoughts on that?
I've spoken to a lot of people, and sometimes they feel like if you talk about it, it becomes a little bit more imminent. Um,
Mm,
and so that's a fear like, okay, if I talk about it, then it's going to come up and it's going to happen. Um,
so there's almost like a little superstition that goes along with that. Like,
yeah,
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 if it comes up, if I talk about it, it might happen to me tomorrow.
and then oftentimes I also see, because it's a money talk also. It,
Mm,
and
okay.
so sometimes people don't want to talk about finances, and bring that out, just because I want to say just because I don't know, it's just not a conversation that's been normalized in those families, in those particular families and homes. What I realize and understand is that it's easier to have the conversation when it's been normalized in the home and the upbringing is there.
Okay.
Not saying that, anything is bad. It's just sometimes some of us steer away from financial conversations or conversations about the end of life. We get um, excited about so many other things, education, marriage,
Mhm.
and
Well, those are
it's
all
just
fun
not an
topics.
exciting topic.
Those those are all fun. Those are all,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
exciting. And
party, right?
yeah. We want to party hardy, right? Party till we,
Right,
we want
right.
to enjoy that. But having this kind of a conversation is more on the serious side, right?
Yeah,
Um,
but I
it's
think a lot of times we don't realize that the end of life is also a celebration of that person's life.
sure.
And so, although, yes, we're thinking about the fun and the party of those other events, it can be a celebration if everything is planned out and done well.
Very good. So I kind of for those of that know me, I've been in the education world for a long time, or I was in the education world for a long time, and I kind of equate it in a sense, not the same, obviously, but when you have when you have a big sporting event and you're a parent and parents go to the basketball, they go to the football games, those stadiums and those arenas, they're always full, parents cheering, clapping for their children. They're going all out for them when they're on the court or on the field. And then when it comes to the parent teacher conference, or when it comes to the when the school dean needs to have a conversation, or principal needs to have a conversation with all the parents, typically no one shows up to those because it's
Yeah,
more of a serious conversation. It's more of a, we need to get down to business. It's not as joyous. So I kind of equate this, similar to circumstances like that.
yeah,
When it comes to, hey, marriage, hey, everybody's getting married. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna enjoy. It's a celebration. But when it comes to planning, even just planning for the end of life, we kind of shy away from it. But we're going to talk about it a little bit today, and we're going to get into it. And for those that want to have more of a conversation even with us, we're going to make ourselves available. This is a conversation that we want to engage with you and to help you. We are in the business of helping families and making sure that this process is less stressful. It's going to be stressful no matter what, but if we do it ahead of time, and that's what I'm thinking, before it happens, it's going to be less stressful when that time comes. Would you agree with that, Jadeenah?
I absolutely agree. I've seen it both. Um, when my father passed, he did not have those plans in place, but when my grandfather passed, he did. And so I see the difference that it can make in a family
Mm,
and the dynamic and the relationship of a family, of just being able to have those plans in place. And oh my Lord, what we went through with not having those plans in place, the conversations, those weren't nice conversations. I would rather have the conversation earlier,
mm,
when everybody's okay and good and we can settle in on something, than when everything is when we're in a place of mourning, and so we're
exactly.
already feeling loss.
Yeah,
And that's a way harder conversation.
absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts on, you know, back in the day and day. I guess you still do it now, but when something happened, when family member passed away, when a friend passed away, and these things weren't in place, what did we do? There was a spaghetti and chicken dinner, being sold. There was a car wash. Everybody's had their signs with car wash. Now we have, what's prevalent now is GoFundMe.
Mhm.
Everybody has, and again, I don't have a problem with those things. As a matter of fact, again, with my brother passing, and next week will be a year since he passed away. and that's something that we'll continue to deal with. But at the time, my brother didn't have anything in place. We set up a GoFundMe account on his behalf, and we had to do what we had to do with him and his wife. His wife passed away, 2 months earlier than he did. So we had to do those types of things, and it's okay to do those. But what do you think? Is it possible that we can do something without going that route, or is that just what we're going to have to deal with?
We don't have to deal with it at all, Kirk. And actually, back in the day, these options were in place, but we didn't. I don't think there were proactive conversations. Like I said, when my grandfather was preparing for my grandmother when she passed, because she passed first, my maternal grandmother. But he had the opportunity to sit down and have the conversation so that he was able to plan out for when he passed. Now, we didn't know it was going to be within 1 year, you know,
Sure.
but because he sat down and had the conversation and somebody was willing to have that conversation with him and be, you know, upfront and available and not be scared to have the conversation with him, then all of those details were taken care of for my mom and her siblings when he passed.
Sure.
So those options have been there. And the difference is having the conversation about them.
Okay.
They've been there for a very long time. These companies and the people that we work with have been in business for hundreds of years. Now, why we haven't been able to have those conversations or we haven't done it is something different. We get scared about having the conversations
Mm-hmm.
with other people. And then also, we get scared to have the conversation as somebody knowing that, I hate to say this, but
That's all right.
I'm gonna hit the dirt just like everybody else will. I promise
Mm,
you, 9 times out of 10, I will. And we think about, okay, I'm a woman in the Christian community, right?
okay.
And so we put an emphasis on Christ coming back and everything like that. The trend is, and I like to tell people this, it's been a while. You know what I mean? There
Okay.
have been many people that have gone on before from the time that he came originally, and we don't know when he's coming back. So 9 times out of 10, and the Bible says also that we must prepare our families, and we're supposed to make a legacy for our families. That's a part of what we're supposed to do as Christian men and women, and just period as humans,
Mm-hmm.
that we take care of and care for our families. And so the trend is we probably gonna hit the dirt before the resurrection comes, right? Um, and so people don't want to talk about that. Um, and again, that's within the household of Christianity and without. It doesn't matter where you are. 9 times out of 10, well, 9.99999 times out of 10,
Right.
you're
Okay.
going to leave your family with something to deal with. And we have to get to a point where we love our families enough to not
Mm-hmm.
put them through this additional stress, these additional issues, because family fights come with it. Um, and I often see that in the time that we need each other the most, uh, that's when we're hard on each other the most, because we get into selfish places. But when we pre-plan those for our families, then we can help them avoid all of that.
Okay, and that kind of segues into this thing that we are talking about. Again, we, for those that are just joining, thank you for being here, joining us on the main stage. I am Kirk Williams. This is a Live Inspired with Kirk Williams. My special guest is Jadeenah Smith. We're talking about planning for the inevitable, leaving a legacy through advanced planning. That's kind of what we're talking about today. And at any moment, you guys can chime in, talk to us. We'll give you our phone numbers at the end of this so that you can really talk with us on a one-on-one basis, and we can make this conversation, less scary. We can make this conversation, more edible in a sense, because again, this is a hard topic for a lot of us to deal with, a hard topic for us to talk about before it happens. So
Right.
our goal, my goal with this particular session, this particular special session today is to, put it out there. Yes, we need to talk about, planning for death. We need to talk about advanced planning. And you have a couple of good people here that are willing to go through the process with you. You don't have to go through it alone. It doesn't have to be super scary. It doesn't have to be taboo, to talk about death. And we can, really help you in those lessons. Again, we'll give you that information at the end. But I want to ask you, with advanced planning, with once we decide to really consider planning for the end of life, what are some of the really benefits of doing a plan ahead of time versus when something happens? Now I have to go into it, I'm forced, or we're forced to do something. What's the benefits? What are a couple of benefits of planning ahead of time?
I think the major benefit is the relief of stress on the family.
Mm,
I think that's the hugest thing. And to make sure that we uh, help foster those family ties and honor. You can be honored the way you want to be honored. You can pick it all out. So one of the things I know is that there are some people who don't care about being cremated or cremation, and
mm-hmm,
there are some people who are dead set against it. My mom is one of those people. She's
mm-hmm.
like, "You are not going to cremate me," you know, because
Right.
of whatever her faith base is or her base of belief is. Then that's
Mm-hmm.
not something that she wants.
Yeah.
Now, if the plan isn't in place beforehand, then we have to do what we have to do.
Sure.
And that means that we are not able to honor her in the way that either we want to honor her or she wants to be honored,
Mm,
you know? And so we kind of take, when we do the pre planning, we take that out of it. We make sure everything is okay. We relieve the stress from the family. We give you the opportunity to celebrate and mourn your family member or your dearly loved one in the way that you need to, without that additional stress, without that additional pressure, without thinking about money. When my father
yeah.
passed, uh, when my father, I was married at the time. And when my father passed, we were on our way to our honeymoon that we hadn't taken.
Mm.
And so we were going out of town. And on that Friday, we were on our way out the door. That's when I found out my father passed.
Wow.
We had used up the money that we, you know what I mean? We
Yeah,
put
that's
our,
real.
our financial resources toward saying, okay, we're going to have this good time. And so that means that we did that still, is not to be insensitive, but the money was paid and everything like that. And states away. And so there was really nothing that we could do over the course of the weekend except for
Okay.
make phone calls, right? Um, but then when we came back, then it was a quick trip, back home and finding the funds,
Mm.
and to fund him. And there were family, of course, family and friends chipped in and everything like that. Um, but also the the bulk of our conversations within our family was how we were going to honor him,
Mm-hmm.
what service to have. There were disputes about that. It was okay,
Sure.
well, I don't want my brother to go through this because I didn't like these people, or but my brother but my father honored these people, and and so it takes that out of it. And
Yeah.
so, we can say, okay, this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
And this is what we'll give them because this is what they wanted. And it's documented, and I can put that in somebody else has the handle of that. And I can do the little things, I can call up my family and say, this is what happened, and let's take some time together and mourn him. It took a while before I could take some time to actually mourn the passing of my father because the weight was on me to
Right.
plan everything, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And so I didn't have that ability to say, okay, what does this actually mean in my life? And what does this mean for me? And how do I proceed, with life? Because I was inundated with the planning part of everything and the finances of everything. So,
So wow, yeah, yeah, you just hit a nerve, and I'm sure that you're not speaking alone. A lot of people that are gonna watch this, listen to this, even myself, we've gone through that type of thing, and we've had to have those kind of conversations or potential conversations. And I say potential because when my brother passed, there was a he didn't leave any information for us. He didn't tell us, me personally, he didn't tell me how he wanted to, if he wanted to be buried, if he wanted to be cremated. He didn't tell
mhm,
us anything. And we had, excuse me, we had a couple of family members on both sides, like, okay, we want to do this, we want to do this, we're not sure. So eventually, my nephew, my brother's son, let us know, hey, you know what? My father, he told me this is what he wanted. Wow, that was a relief for us
yeah,
because now we as a family can honor what my brother wanted.
yeah,
So that let so much stress off of us because it would have been, there would have been friction. And in the industry with Inspired Life Memorials, I see it all the time with family members are going back at each other. At the time they should be coming together, like you mentioned, they're actually being pulled apart because of this situation. And a lot of it could have been handled if we already knew what our loved one wanted, and we can just honor that. And I think that's an awesome thing, to keep peace in the family, to let stress go. And again, with advanced planning, one of the things that we can do with it is control the costs of, right. Can
yeah,
you
yeah,
if you
absolutely.
plan now with most things, if you plan it now, if you pay for it now, in the future, inflation, costs rise. So this is actually another good aspect of
Absolutely.
pre-planning, right?
Absolutely. And the fact that okay, so what we'll say is this is a contract, right? And so the contract has to be honored.
Mm-hmm.
And the companies are not going to dishonor the contract. The family has a copy of the contract, the funeral home, and the person that purchases it has a copy of the contract, right? Which means that this stuff is set in stone. And so there's no going back and forth. There's no finding out. It's, hey, let me contact Kirk. Let me contact Inspired Life. And this is where we are. And I already have a contract with you. It could have been 20, 30 years ago, right? But the contract stands.
Yeah.
And so regardless of inflation, cost of living prices goes up, all of that is included. And so you still get the same quality that the person or that we've set out, everything that you've planned, you still get, regardless of what's going on in the world, how things have happened, you get what you have planned for, and it's honored. And it's good to know that you can be in a space where things can be honored, your wishes can be honored. And that's not something that's a fleeting notion, but it will be honored. It is honored. It's a contract. It's set in stone, and there are people there that are in place already to make sure that that contract is honored.
Cool. Well, great. Thank you very much for that. So I want to ask you, as we talk about advanced planning or pre-plan, as some people call it in the industry,
Mhm.
um, what's the difference, or is there a difference between pre-planning or advanced planning and life insurance? Life,
Absolutely, I was going
yeah,
to bring that up.
yeah. What is the difference? Sometimes people say, I have my life insurance, so everything is taken care of. I don't need to worry about anything else. Is there a difference between advanced planning and life insurance?
There is absolutely a difference. And just to be clear, just to let everybody know, I do insurance, right?
Yes.
I do insurance and retirement. And I do pre planning. And there is an absolute difference with the pre planning and advanced planning that everybody is guaranteed to be able to get something. So you can do the pre plan whether you are. Have assorted health issues and everything. That's not guaranteed with regular life insurance.
Hmm.
With regular life insurance, it can be costlier when you have the more health issues or things that you have going on. It can be costlier
Yeah.
than having that pre plan set in place. Also, with life insurance, the funds will be there, but there are there are different things that can come into play when it comes to that payout for the life insurance. They
Okay.
want to make sure that um, you didn't tell no stories and you didn't lie. I'm
Hmm.
telling stories unless you know how old I am. But anyway, you didn't you didn't, lie and everything was up to date and everything like that. And so those things are weighed out before that's paid out. It can take a little bit longer for the
Hmm.
payout. The uh, funeral home or memorial center company or whatever, they have to work a little bit, do a little bit, do more things, and then it kind of takes some back end work. And so you're definitely depending on your insurance agent, which I'll be there for you. So you're definitely definitely depending on your insurance agent. You're definitely depending on your memorial home, but you still have that planning to do. So you still have to pick out the particulars. The price hasn't been set in stone, and
Hmm.
so the money comes out of the life insurance policy, and then everything else goes to, the beneficiaries. So it takes a little bit more work with a standard insurance policy than it takes for a pre plan or an advanced plan, because with the advanced plan, you can say, hey, we have this advanced plan in place. My loved one has passed on. And then I hand it to you and you take care of all of that,
Hmm.
right? You take up care of the particulars. Okay, so if things change and there are new flowers that have come upon the earth or something else has happened, then we can say, okay, well, we'll choose this one, instead. Um, but with the life insurance policy, you're still planning everything at that time. So there's still that stress
Yeah.
where, okay, I have to plan out all of the particulars, all of the details, um, and still make sure that my person is being honored the way that they wish to be honored. Although the life insurance creates like a trust, it doesn't line out those details like a pre-plan does.
Right. The details. So you can have all the life insurance that you want, and really, you still, once you have to go through all the hoops that you have to go through with the life insurance policy, it still doesn't guarantee that your your wishes or your loved one's wishes will be honored,
Right.
because they didn't do the advanced planning. They just had life insurance. So again, I want to make sure everybody is clear on that. life insurance is good. You want life insurance. You need life
It's
insurance.
awesome.
It's incredible. Definitely need to have life insurance. Not telling you that you don't have life insurance and just get an advanced plan. No, that's not it. What I'm saying, and what I believe Jadeenah is letting us know, is that number one, if you cannot get life insurance, and some of us have health issues, some of us are advanced in age, some of us, have done some, unfortunate things in the past, and we can't get life insurance.
Right.
But we still need to have something for, when death and when the inevitable happens, we still need to have something in place. You can do that with advanced planning, right?
That's right.
Also, we're also saying that life insurance cannot take away the stress of making sure the loved one's wishes are honored. Advanced planning, you can write everything down from if you want to do burial and you want to have a casket, if you want to do cremation, if you want to have these kind of flowers, if you want to have this memorial at this place at this time, you can plan that. You can have that already done, advanced planning. Life insurance can't do that for you. Right. It just gives you the funds, hopefully the funds, because life insurance is a whole nother ball game. There's sometimes you can have it, sometimes it might disappear. Life insurance is kind of weird like that, but it's important to have. However, advanced planning helps you, with all of the details, like Jadeenah mentioned. Am I saying that right, Jadeenah? I don't want to.
Yeah, I would say that life insurance is great for legacy. It's absolutely awesome. I believe that it's needed. I believe that that's one of the things that we don't leverage enough. Mm-hmm. Is the life insurance policies. Great for legacy. You want to make sure that that's in place. With that being said, I believe fully in having an advanced plan so that stress and that money, that's not, you can go ahead and do things quickly and honor your loved one and be honored the way that you want to be honored. And still leave that legacy. It does not dig into those funds. And so, I believe in both of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's important to have both of them for sure.
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, everyone, I think we're probably going to end up having another session on this. Okay. We really need to dig into this a little bit deeper because, again, most of us don't talk about it. Most of us are even nervous, scared to talk about it. Like Jadeenah mentioned earlier, if I talk about it, then it might happen tomorrow. So I'm gonna put my head in the sand and just, wish that it doesn't happen. But we already know it's going to for all of us. And, I'm actually speaking for myself. I'm in the middle of doing this myself with my family. So it's important that we do all of this and talk about it even more. Again, it's going to happen. So we have to talk about it as a community. We have to. It's important that we don't leave families or our family members stressed out over what to do. And whether we do an advanced planning or not, we just have to have conversations. So like my brother had a conversation with his son. So his son knew what was going to happen. Now, what happens if, unfortunately, my brother's son passes or is not available? Then who knows what information to do for my brother, what his wishes were. So there's levels to this thing. I think we need to make sure that we open up the conversation. We can do that on this platform. We can have a conversation anywhere, anytime. But I just want to stress that have these conversations, these hard conversations with your family members. Tell them what you want, and then write it down. And you can always write it down. And if you need help with that, Miss Jadeenah Smith is here for you. We're here for you at Inspire Life Memorials and Cremations, but Jadeenah is here as well. And we want to help you with that process because it's important to us that you're taken care of, just like we want to make sure our families are taken care of. So with that said, Jadeenah, why don't you let everybody know how they can get in touch with you if they want to talk about this even more so?
Definitely. You can get in touch with me either by email at Jadeenah@lifeandretirementready.com. You can get in touch with me by calling me at 702-786-7148, or you can get in touch with me by contacting Inspired Life. So, Jadeenah at inspiredlifeco.com, or if you call the Inspired Life number, they'll definitely get you in contact with me so that we can sit down, have the conversation. And just to let you know, I am not only I, but the team at Inspire Life, we're very real. We'll sit down and have the conversation. We're not trying to uh, sell you on anything. It's about your
Yeah.
wishes and it's about your wants. Everything is about you. There's a fabulous team in place. And so we're okay with having those hard conversations with you. We'll work with you and we'll walk with you through the process. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. Thank you. And I just want to, and I appreciate that plug. I didn't pay you for that plug, but I,
You
I
didn't.
appreciate that,
I
that
need my
plug.
50 cent, Kirk.
But that is truly, really, really what we want. We want to help you. We want to, we're not out here trying to make a sale. We're out here trying to make sure that you're taken care of. That's why I'm doing this particular summer session on the Live Inspired platform versus on Inspired Life, cremation's website or anything like that. I'm trying to provide information. I want to provide information. I want to provide some comfort, some support, because I know I need it. I know my family needs it. And if you're my family, you need to call me and we can have a conversation. If you can't have it with your family members, if you have struggles, then call me. I'll come in and I'll have the conversation and talk. We need to do this because what I want to make sure is everybody has a stress less, and I won't say stress free, because when death comes, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be, hard. It's a hard thing to deal with, the loss of a loved one. But I'm here for that. Jadeenah is here for you all, and we're not out trying to sell anything. We're out trying to help you, and we do that by having these conversations. And then if you want to have the plan, we have all the plans in place, the information in place, but we truly care. And that's what we do at Inspired Life, and that's what we're doing on the main stage and with Jadeenah. Again, appreciate it. And Jadeenah, if you can give everybody your phone number one more time so they can give you a call, so that we can get some people some help.
Yes, my phone number is 702 oh, wrong number. Oh, I almost gave y'all my personal. 702-786-7148.
All right, so
Yeah.
that's Jadeenah's number right there, 702-786-7148. Give her a call, give her a shout out, and just say, hey, Jadeenah, I saw you on the Live Inspired, podcast, or I heard you on the podcast. Can we have a conversation? And it's as easy as that.
You can also reach me at the Inspired Life number as well. Kirk, you want to put that up?
And the Inspired Life number, let me put that up real quick. No, I don't think I misplaced myself. I put the wrong number on there. Let me put it at 723. And it's not popping up. But you know what? I'll get it up to you guys, and I'll put it in the thread somewhere. It's not popping up right now for you guys, but just let me just say this. Thank you, Ms. Jadeenah, for coming on the main stage and having this conversation with us. This needed conversation. This is really just a starter conversation. We'll have more of these online. We'll have more of these out in the communities, and we'll have more individual conversation, I'm sure. But I truly appreciate you coming onto the main stage and talking with us about this, advanced planning, this legacy planning. We truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me, Kirk. I'm always here to have the conversation. I'm good to talk about it.
Very good. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining. It's Kirk Williams with Live Inspired. Join us again next time. And just stay in touch with us. We want to really want you to be encouraged. Life is good, and no matter what you're going through, you're going to make it. We also, please just have a positive attitude. Stay positive. Nothing good comes out of a negative mindset, negative attitude. Last but not least, we want you to live an inspired life. Again, life is good, and you are an inspiration to someone, to yourself, and to someone else. So live inspired and enjoy life. And check with us next time. Again, Kirk Williams with Live Inspired. Thank you very much for joining us today on the main stage. Take care. Have a good one.